have good tank equals good loot. We got badge, gauntlets, and a sting of death. Imagine, mate. I think Zolp's gonna quit the game. Still got a tank, Blackwind Lair, man. And a zombie. And a fucking zombie, mate. Their cloak, yeah, when I get inside.
How are you? Be good.
Clipping is allowed, but I'm gonna delete all the clips. Make it streamable if you know how to do that shit. Gave me gear, what a nice guy.
Oh, hey, Tally. What are you doing here?
Oh, hi, Evie. Gen sent for me to come and collect a very important and
What? Was it you? I don't know about that. It's probably you. Probably was though. It might not have been, but it probably was. If that makes sense.
services, including disability services, that can help students feel successful and comfortable in their college lives.
I was introduced to this world of laughter and friendship and family and lessons.
I chose Lawrence Tech for the architecture program and volleyball team. Architecture is a great fit for me because I love math and design. Now I combine them with technology to create beautiful structures. At Lawrence Tech, I didn't have to wait until my third year to start designing. Our hands-on education begins right from day one. And I'm really excited about LTU's Design Center in Detroit. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
It's Monday, so you know what that means. It's NFL Monday. We saw Cam Newton and the Patriots win a game last night. Can it continue? We heard about James Harden wanting to depart from Houston and possibly ending up in Brooklyn. That's something to talk about. But of course, not without talking about one of the greatest plays we saw in NFL history. It's First Take Monday. You know what time it is. Let's go.
Murray back to throw, rolling left in trouble, gotta launch it, he does, into the end zone, jump ball, is it caught? Oh my goodness, it's caught! DeAndre Hopkins caught it! He caught it for a touchdown with 1 second left! I can't believe it!
Hoppy made a lot of impressive catches over the years. Where is this one gonna rank right now?
This one is number one. It was the winning game, no question. You know, in basketball terminology, that's what they call this. You know, when somebody get dunked on. But it was on 3 people. Yeah, it was you know, they were in position. It was just a better catch by I.
Get it! Kyler Murray needs to send Bill O'Brien a nice thank you gift. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for being with us. Such a good day of football. Stephen A, RC, Max, I'm Molly. Let's get right to it. Stephen A, D-Hop coming through in the clutch with that Hail Mary catch. What went through your mind when you saw that?
Well, the first thing that went to my mind is that I fully understand why Bill O'Brien is no longer a head coach in the National Football League. You had this man in Houston with Deshaun Watson, and you let him go. That's who you choose to let go. Clearly one of the best wide receivers in football, top 3 easy, might be number 1 or 2, and clearly some of the best hands we've ever seen at the wideout spot. And he's friends and obviously used to be at Clemson with Deshaun Watson, and this is the guy you let go. That's what jumped to my mind, Bill O'Brien. Obviously, it was an incredible play by DeAndre Hopkins. We saw him basically box out Micah Hyde. We saw him basically box him out. Tre'Davious White couldn't jump with him. And, of course, Poyer came flying in trying to bat down the ball, but it was all to no avail because D-Hop has hops. It's just that simple. He went up. He got the ball over 3 people. It was an incredible play on his part. It was an incredible play on the part of Kyler Murray, no doubt about that, scrambling out to the pocket to his left and juking the defensive lineman coming at him the way that he did. But in the end, jumping over 3 people. I like the analogy that he used, Ryan and Max, when he talked about basically dunking on somebody because he went over everybody and took the ball and brought it down and brought it in. But to answer the question again for one last time, the first thing that jumped to my mind when I saw how great that play was, the first thing that jumped to my mind is no wonder Bill O'Brien is no longer the head coach in Houston. How do you trade this man and take him away from Deshaun Watson? You deserve to be gone when you make that kind of error.
Stephen A., I am shocked and disappointed at you. You thought of Bill O'Brien first, you of all people, and not that bad man? You of all people didn't think of that bad man? That looked like Aaron Rodgers to me. Look, how many times has Aaron Rodgers done this, right? Maybe most famously against the Lions. You remember this play? You guys remember this play? Because this is what Kyler Murray looked like to me. They were down 23-21. There was no time left. Remember this? And then flicks it was 61 yards. And by the way, both ends of the play.
He did it against them and Arizona.
Well, that's coming up, Stephen A. Don't jump the gun. By the way, against Detroit, People forget he just made. I don't even remember if it was Detroit or Arizona. Here's the Arizona play. I think it was against Arizona. He just made the same play and they called it back. I forgot what happened, and then he did it again. He did it again. And Aaron Rodgers is doing this, sometimes throwing to some good receivers. I mean, look at this. And by the way, Kyler Murray, like Aaron Rodgers, so good escaping the pressure. And then here against the Giants. The thing about the Kyler Murray play that reminded me of the Aaron Rodgers play is not just escaping in the pocket and seemingly effortlessly, even more effortlessly than Rodgers, the way he flicked it, I felt, throwing that ball down the field to his receiver. But the fact that his receiver made that kind of play on the ball, like DeAndre Hopkins told you, everyone was in position. He's not taking credit away. So often you hear opponents take credit away from the other guy. That makes your play worse. Give the opponents credit. He was like, look, they were in position. There were 3 dudes just making his play more extraordinary, which it was. Of course, the guy is known for his hands, but his positioning, his timing, the whole thing was so great. And this is why I was thinking of Aaron Rodgers, Stephen A. Aaron Rodgers has had some very good receivers. He has never had DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, never had that
Watson
dude.
Had him. Kyler Murray now has him. So these Hail Mary type plays, those 50-50 balls, it's like more like a 60-40 or 70-30 ball at the end of games. NFL, look out, because Kyler Murray can do that. And DeAndre Hopkins has made a living catching that ball.
You know what? I had 2 thoughts. My first thought was Deshaun Watson. And I thought back to one of my favorite movies, and my favorite parts of a movie was Boys in the Hood, when Nia Long's sitting on the sofa and Cuba Gooding Jr. is mad. It's after everything happened to Ricky, and he's just punching the air like this. Because that's what I thought Deshaun Watson was probably doing watching that last 11 seconds of that game. He wasn't thinking about Bill O'Brien. He was at his house punching the air, upset that they traded that dude away. Now, the second thing I thought about, guys, was you two. I thought about Max Kellerman. I thought about Stephen A. Smith. Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even a week ago, we were having this discussion. Oh, is it Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf? And then I think we brought up somebody else. Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. And I was like, hey, man, like if we just not going on career achievements, like you kind of got to start talking about Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. And then, Max, well, statistically, analytically, it's a sharper Warren, all that. And then, Stephen A., that is blasphemous. How you going to throw all them in there? And then I said, oh, y'all got to watch these dudes and look what happens. Because here's what I want you to think about. It wasn't that this was designed to go this way and he just escaped to the left because he was supposed to. No, he gets out to the left. He has a defender to beat. He hits him with a hesitation and he gets outside of the pocket. Then the other thing Kyler Murray has to do is turn his hips, get his hips turned around, kind of like a double play in baseball, and then get that ball thrown down to the end zone to give D-Hop a chance. One, there's maybe 4 quarterbacks that have the escapability, the athleticism to get outside of the pocket to their left that way. Maybe 2 or 3 that can actually get their hips turned and throw the football. And those 2 or 3 people might not be the same people. And what we do know is there is no better contested football catcher in the game than DeAndre Hopkins. Do you know why he was so calm after the game? Why it was so easy for him to say that 3 dudes were in position and he dunked on them? You know why that was so easy? Because that's most of his catches. Most of his catches are contested. Most of the time he is covered. He is the most blanketed, uncoverable receiver that's ever lived. So that's nothing. If it touches his hands, he is going to catch it. So exactly what I told y'all when we were talking about the 2 best that's doing it, they have to be in the conversation because they are different. They left the hospital with more than other people, and y'all got to see that.
Well, I appreciate, listen, man, I usually defer to you when it comes to football stuff, but that is until you engage in hyperbole. The greatest receiver you ever see?
No,
I'm not going there. I'm not going that far.
That's not what
I'm
I said.
not going that far. Hold on, Max. Hold on, Max. Well, I'm just saying, essentially, what did you say? I want to quote you accurately. Tell me exactly what you said again, Ryan. What did I miss?
I said he's the
Most
most blanketed, uncoverable receiver. This is why, though. What I'm saying is you can be in position against DeAndre Hopkins. That's not the hard part. The hard part is stopping him from catching it. And so even though 3 dudes were there, if you don't get your hands on the football, he is going to catch it. 65% of his catches are contested balls.
That's insane.
Like, that's the type of player he is.
I'm still not going to sit
so
up
when
here
you
and
give
say
him a
that
chance,
is the dynamic
Who?
duo
So
in
give me
the
a name.
NFL. They're big time, no doubt. But I'm not going to say they're number one. No, I'm not going to say that.
But
I
Stephen
still
A.,
hold my position from last week.
Ryan, so do I. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's not a 50-50 ball guy like DeAndre Hopkins. I agree with that assessment, by the way. Best hands I've ever seen, Chris Carter, Fitzgerald, Hopkins, right? Like, those are the 3 that jump to mind. And maybe in a crowd, maybe I'll take DeAndre. But Mahomes, like Tyreek Hill ain't going to be contested because he's going to be in a place where no one else will be. And Mahomes is just better than everyone at basically everything. But Stephen A., I agree. I agree with Ryan about contested balls. I just, off the top of my head, what receiver in the history of the game that I've seen would I want in a crowd to go up and catch a contested ball? Probably DeAndre Hopkins. In that one aspect of his skills, probably Hopkins. I think that's true.
Listen, D-Hop, they got it in his name, guys. Let me wrap with this. So, Ryan, you thought of Deshaun, Stephen A., you thought of Bill O'Brien, Max, you thought of Aaron Rodgers, and I thought about Thursday Night Football, Seattle, Arizona. I can't wait for that game. And speaking of the NFC West, let's dive right into it, fellas. Things have gotten really interesting in the best division in football. As we just discussed, the Cards beat the Bills in a nail-biter thanks to that play, and the Rams beat the Seahawks. So there is now a 3-way tie atop the NFC West. Max, which team should be the favorite now in this division?
All right, ready for this? And this is not going to sound popular right now. It's popular a couple weeks ago. I still like Seattle. Could they get their running backs back? Could they get their running backs back so they can control the clock a little bit, so they can get a real ground game going? By the way, can Jamal Adams be healthy? Because if Jamal Adams gets healthy, the reason I like the Seahawks, I like the Saints preseason, then the Seahawks make the deal for Jamal Adams. And I'm like, that's not just you picked up a dude or you even picked up a Pro Bowler. You picked up an all-pro guy who looks like one day he's going to be in the Hall of Fame type guy if he can stay healthy. But he hasn't been a lot this year. It's a new team, new situation, and he's been banged up, and it happened again. So I would say when you really look at it, we just got off fawning over Kyler Murray, and I get Jared Goff and everything they can do. I'll leave that stuff to you. But of those quarterbacks with the chips on the line, give me Russell Wilson. And I think the chips will be on the line more when their running backs and safety get to be closer to 100% and get on the field. I think those games are going to be close, and I like Russell Wilson in those kind of games.
I disagree with you. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. I told you coming into this game the Rams would win this game. I told you that we would bet on their defense more than we would bet on Seattle's offense. And what did they do? They sacked Russell Wilson about 6 times. They were all over him. They forced 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions. And I think that this is the defense. This defense is what everybody's got to pay attention to. Certainly when you look at the Rams, they got a 3-headed monster at the running back position with Henderson and Akers and Brown all averaging over 4 yards a carry. They're a top 10 running team in the National Football League, but this defense is top 2 in points allowed, top 2 in yards allowed, top 3 in passing yards allowed, top 5 in their running game. They are complete. They were all over him. And by the way, they had 6 sacks yesterday, and Aaron Donald didn't even have one of them. Leonard Floyd had one, had about 3. Brock has had about 1 or 2. I forgot who else had a couple of sacks. The bottom line is when you look at this defense, particularly the way Jalen Ramsey was all over DK Metcalf and basically shut him down. A couple of sacks. This Rams when you look at this legit, it's the real deal. And when you talk about the ingredients of winning championships, usually, regardless of how heroic you may be, how potent your pass attack may be, et cetera, there are 2 ingredients that are almost a must in most situations: a defense and a running game. The Rams have both. And that's what I'm paying attention to. I ain't even bring Robert Woods and Cooler Cup and Josh Reynolds and those boys into the equation because Jared Goff wet the bed against the Miami Dolphins. We know that, even though he made up for it a little bit yesterday. He played a little bit better yesterday. But that running game and that defense, especially that defense, is real. The Rams are the best team in the NFC West right now.
The Rams are the most complete team. I'm with Stephen A. When you look at the way that they can do many of the things that Stephen A mentioned, you have to put them atop or at least give them the best chance to win. I think the other reason I'm extremely confident about the Rams is because it's about Sean McVay. When Sean McVay understands how they win games, how they are most efficient, that's when they play well. Even against the Miami Dolphins, you saw him get away from the run, and you saw that Jared Goff struggled. There were turnovers. There were sacked fumbles. There were sacked fumbles that turned into touchdowns, and all of those things led to Jared Goff not playing well, which led to an offense being able to play keep away from the Los Angeles Rams defense, not having to drop back and give that front seven or give that front four opportunities to rush the passer because they can rush with four and play defense in the secondary on the back end. So when Sean McVay understands coming into a game, we have to lead with the run. Think about yesterday playing against Seattle, the league's worst passing defense. They decided to start with the run. Why? Because when Henderson runs, when Akers runs, when Brown runs, that allows this play action game to get going. That allows all the motion in the backfield to distract the eyes of the defense and allow Jared Goff not only time, but open spaces to throw the football. So it's about Sean McVay continuing to not have to try to be boy genius or show us all how smart he is, because he is brilliant, he is a genius, but show us that sticking to the script works. Now, on the other side of that, here's my worry. A big thing about this team, or a big reason they've been extremely good, is the offensive line. They lose Andrew Whitworth yesterday. I'm not sure how long the injury will last. I'm not sure if he's out for the season.
He's been
but this is huge. Not only because of how good he is, exactly. Not only how good he is at the tackle position, but the leadership, the communication, the cohesiveness he provides this unit. If they can replace him, if this offensive line can continue to play as well as it has this year, this team wins the NFC West. But we saw when the offensive line didn't last year. A lot of people wanted to put that on Todd Gurley. That wasn't Todd Gurley. That was not winning up front. So if this offense continues to win up front, if Sean McVay continues to understand this team leads with the run first, I believe they win the NFC West and have a chance to advance in the playoffs. They are that good and that balanced.
Let me ask you something. Seattle keeps losing. We all know Seattle's offense has to be on the field in order for them to win, because their defense ain't going to do it. What we're hoping for, if you want to see competitive football out of them and wins out of them, and Russell Wilson a chance to really do his thing, the defense can bend but not break. As I mentioned, I think Adams is key. But do you notice how the free fall has coincided almost exactly with missing their running backs, right? Like that's if you don't have Carson, it's an exact. So when he gets back, I expect them to get back to the way they look. And what we were saying about Seattle, for all their flaws, because Stephen A., I can't debate that you're a running game and a defense, of course. And not only that, they have receivers too. I'm not saying, and I'm not saying, Ryan, that they're not the most well-rounded team. The Rams are the most well-rounded team. I'm saying sometimes you have a singular player or a talent on your team that can pop its head up and overcome other deficiencies. Russell Wilson has been that for Seattle for years. And this year we saw when they had their full complement of players, they lost one game in overtime to Arizona. That was it before all the injuries hit. Then they started losing. They got these guys
Tell
back.
me a team that's won. Tell me a team that's won, Max, that's had a horrific defense.
Well, not a horrific
I remember
defense.
the days of Dan Marino, for example. Remember the days of Dan Marino with Mark Super Duper, Mark Clayton, even when they had Chuck Muncie in the back, what have you. Remember Dan Fouts, Ed Coryell with Charlie Joyner, Kellen Winslow Sr. And the crew. What happened? What happened?
Didn't get back. Yep.
You got to be able to stop somebody.
Yeah, but listen.
And
we're talking about
they're
Super
not
Bowl.
going to do that, and they can't protect Russell Wilson?
Yeah, you're right. You're talking about Super Bowl. We're talking about the team to beat in the NFC West, right? In the division, I think Seattle can take this division. I agree. If the Rams were to get there, maybe they'd have a better chance because they're more well-rounded. I'm talking about in the division the rest of this year when they get healthy, because I already seen it. I've seen Seattle be almost undefeated when they were healthy, and that was really without Jamal Adams playing well for most of that.
Yeah, the thing was, too, though, and at that time, though, even with the defense not playing well, it took not only just a good Russell Wilson, it took the best Russell Wilson we had ever seen. And he has to get back to that. And it's hard to play at that level consistently. And I think the reason that you kind of don't feel certain ways about the Rams is because of their quarterback. When you watch Kyler Murray, your eyes are like this the entire game. When you're watching Russell Wilson, your eyes are like this. And Jared Goff is just good. You know, he's very, very dependent on how things go around him. But I think when he's solid, when the rest of this team is coached the correct way, and when they call plays the right way, Jared Goff is a Pro Bowl level quarterback that has an outstanding defense. To me, this is the team that wins the NFC West and has an opportunity to advance in the playoffs.
All right, Seattle favored to win the division according to most betting sites. Ryan, you have about 30 minutes of time to do some cardio, and then we need you back, all right? That's all I can offer you.
I'll see you guys later.
Make it quick. We'll talk to you in just a bit.
I'll take it.
When we come back, two MVPs battling it out in primetime. Cam beating Lamar, but can the Pats keep this up? We debate that next. Plus, the Eagles' woes continue, this time at the hands of the Giants. Who's most to blame for Philly's struggles? We get into it.
Toyotathon is on. Now's the time to get a great deal on Tacoma, RAV4, Camry, and more.
I'll take it.
I'll get this wrapped up for you. I wish I hadn't just unwrapped it.
Toyotathon is on. Get 0% APR financing on a 2020 Camry. Offer ends November 30th. For more great deals, visit Toyota.com.
Toyotathon is on. Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
At CDW, we get there's no time for downtime. That's why CDW experts partner with APC by Schneider Electric to keep you up and running with a full range of edge computing solutions, including the new lithium-ion Smart Ups UPS with 2 times the battery life and cloud-enabled remote monitoring, so you can deploy data center-like resiliency with the performance and certainty you expect and the ongoing support you need. For IT infrastructure and uptime, you need APC by Schneider Electric and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it.
Look, Limu! Someone out there needs help customizing their car insurance with Liberty Mutual, so they only pay for what they need. False alarm. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Every square blasted with Cinnadust.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world. Always connected, but somehow alone. Trapped by illusion. We offer another path, where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling. United by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
How do you make a Pinot Noir taste like no other? Start with grapes from 3 California regions. Push flavor in new directions. And put a bear on the label. Made like no other for a taste like no other. Mayomi. Flavor forward.
Wendy's didn't start the chicken wars. They just ended them. Introducing Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich. A sandwich so crunchy, so juicy, so delicious. Nothing beats this classic. Grab it now in Wendy's 2 for $5. We got you.
It's the K Friends and Family event with 25 to 50% off everything. Find hundreds of meaningful gifts in-store, online, or by virtual consultation. Shop your way and save only at K Jewelers.
Alicia can't choose between pizza or wings for the game. This isn't a midterm. We say D, all of the above. Like new pizza wings at B-Dubs. The flavor of pizza on a wing. Mark these D for delicious. Pizza wings, one of 4 new sauces at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Rated T for teen.
Remember, Miles, you're Spider-Man. I really think they can get us a checking and trip when I flip up the building. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to take on the world. You can't stop me now. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
PlayStation.
Every customer has their own Safelite story. This couple was on a camping trip when their windshield got a chip. They drove to Safelite for a same-day repair. And with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Really?
That's service you can trust.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
SoFi made it so easy to pay off my student loan debt.
They were able to give me a personal loan so I could pay off all of my credit cards.
I got my mortgage through SoFi, and the whole process is so easy.
Choosing SoFi was literally one of the best decisions I could have ever made because it gave me peace of mind.
Express yourself.
Want more football? Got you covered. Tonight on Monday Night Football, the Vikings have won 2 straight and will take on the 5-3 Bears, who are trying to stay within striking distance of those Packers in the NFC North. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick doing Belichickian things, dialing up a game plan in inclement weather to knock off a top AFC team in the Baltimore Ravens with a 23-17 win in Foxborough. Let's hear from 2 former MVPs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everything that coaches throughout the week, it tends to come up. And, I'm beginning to think he either has like a Staples Easy button or a Buffalo Wild Wings button or just a straight direct line to the football guys, because he's like a football whisperer when it comes to anticipating what the game is going to be like, how we need to win and things like that. I'm extremely impressed with that.
We checked off, don't nobody like losing. I know none of you guys will like losing, especially when we know we got a lot of talent on our team.
All right, Cam with the Coming to America hat and the tassel. That was fancy. Max, can the Pats keep this up?
Yes, they can. I mean, remember, I was saying it's fair to question for the first time when it looked bad for the Pats. Is Belichick still the best coach in football? Because we saw Mike Tomlin without his quarterback last year go 8-8. Well, Belichick is showing you right now. I want to remind everyone, when you perceive the Pats this year, it's like a doomed season, and now they have to claw their way back. I'll remind you, they started off with a double-digit win against Miami, 2-score game. A goal line stand stopped them from beating Seattle, but they were in that. Listen to the names of these teams I'm reeling off now. They beat the Raiders by more than 2 scores, and they lost to the Chiefs without Cam Newton, with calls going against them, and it's Kansas City, right? That's how they start the season. Cam had COVID. That's why he didn't play against the Chiefs. He comes back. Are we sure he's better? Because they lose to the Broncos and they get stomped out by the Niners. Okay, but now we're a little bit removed from that. You'd think he'd be more recovered. The Bills, they lost because he was stripped. But, we're talking about 2 games now. I've mentioned Seattle's a goal line stand, the Bills, he was stripped. Think of the names of the teams I'm talking about. Miami, the Raiders, the Bills, right? These are powerhouse teams. Seattle. Then they beat the Jets, and they just beat the Ravens. So keep that in mind. The bad loss this year, really the 2 bad losses, Broncos and Niners, were right after Cam had COVID. Otherwise, they've been either extremely competitive or have beaten some of the best teams in football. Now think about their schedule coming up. If you think about Cam more at full strength, if in fact my hypothesis is correct, the Texans, is that a winnable game? Sure. Yeah. Arizona, you make them the favorites, maybe, but again, think of the teams that they've beaten, the Patriots, or almost beaten. They could beat Arizona, the Chargers, even the Rams. I don't think the Rams is an unwinnable game for New England. I don't see any Miami, they've already beat them. The Bills, they came close, and they have the Jets again. It's a tough schedule. There's some good teams. Arizona, L.A., Miami, Buffalo. Those are good teams.
The 14th hardest remaining schedule, so about middle of the pack.
I don't see any unwinnable games. Now, I don't think they're going to win them all. They'll probably lose a couple, but it's going to come down to, Stephen A., can Cam make the play with the games on the line, right? We've seen him falter a couple times. We've seen him come through. That's going to determine the season because Belichick will get these games close enough that it will be on the line. And if Cam comes through, they can win the division still.
I'm sorry, I don't see it that way. I really, really don't. I don't think they're making the playoffs. I don't think they're live right now. They're only about 2.5 games back of the Buffalo Bills. I can respect where you're coming from, but I think that we both look at Miami and Buffalo as being a better team than the New England Patriots. Last night they ran the football effectively with Damian Harris. He had a big game. But let's pump the brakes just a little bit here. I mean, inclement weather did have something to do with what transpired, and give Bill Belichick and the Patriots credit. They were in Foxborough. They're accustomed to playing under those conditions. Bill Belichick had them very, very well prepared, and it's not like Baltimore's another side of the world. They play in inclement weather too, but clearly it had an effect on them last night. There were a lot of passes being dropped by the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson throwing the football. Their running game was clearly compromised because of the inclement weather. I remember when you had Jacoby Myers throw that pass, that touchdown pass, all right, and floated it up in the air. You look at the Baltimore defenders, it's like, where am I? Where are we? Looking for the ball, and, they obviously didn't have their footing under them. This was an aberration on a given day where the weather is considerably better. I think you see a better performance from the Baltimore Ravens. And then we get to the schedule here. We got next week, the Houston Texans, as awful as they look. We understand that they could probably fall. They could probably win that game. But then thereafter, Arizona, back-to-back games in L.A. against the Chargers and the Rams inside of 5 days, the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. We're talking about 5 consecutive weeks that they've got these games. And like you said, they'll probably lose a couple of those games. That puts them at least 7 losses on the season, probably 8. And so my mentality is that, no, I don't see the Patriots.
The odds are stacked against them.
And that they...
I mean, I wouldn't put it at 50-50,
hold on. I don't condemn them, because I've been on the record stating it's a lot to deal with COVID-19, with their practice facilities being shut numerous times, with Cam Newton and Stephon Gilmore both testing positive, with players electing not to participate even before the season started. I don't judge the Patriots negatively at all. It's been a crazy, crazy season, but I do believe that because of it, it's put them in a hole they're not going to be able to dig themselves out of in order to get to the postseason this year.
I think Miami's very good. I said that my Super Bowl sleeper last week. I think they're very good, but that's not an unbeatable team. And I like the Bills a lot, but we've seen them lose some games you think they were really in a position to win. So is it 50-50 for the Patriots? No, because they did stumble. But when and why did they stumble? Let's evaluate actually the quality of the team, coaching included, their ability to win games. When did they stumble? You hit the nail on the head, Stephen A. It's not just that Cam got COVID and he missed the Chiefs game and then wasn't quite the same, right, for the next couple weeks, and then seems to regain form a little bit more. But that was when that rash of canceled practices occurred.
Their facility was shut down.
Their facility was shut down, and then lo and behold, a team without the talent of the team.
That is what I said.
Right, that's heavily reliant on coaching. Lo and behold, they're not in a good position to win games against teams like the Broncos or the Niners, right? They really need those practice facilities to be open. They need everything to go their way, but it's not impossible that it can. This is at their best, this is a quality team capable of beating anyone. And when I say anyone, I think the Chiefs would have beat them regardless. But imagine had they had Cam for that game, and he's healthy, and that call doesn't go against him. That's a tight game against Kansas City.
Well, here's the part that you're missing. It's not like all the Patriots' remaining games are against those teams ahead of them. They got to depend on Buffalo and Miami to lose, too. They got to depend on Miami and Buffalo helping them dig themselves out of that hole. That's why I said I don't hold it against them. I don't see them winning all their games, but I think the situation that this entire season entailed put them in a hole I don't think they will dig themselves out of. That's all I'm saying.
They're going to have to upset the odds. They're going to have to upset the odds against Arizona. But let's say they can do that. Let's say they beat the Texans and the Chargers. They could lose to the Chargers, I suppose. But let's say they beat those two teams. They'll be favored to do so probably, right? And they had one kind of upset, not a huge upset, but they are able to beat Arizona. We're looking at them heading into the Rams game at 7-5. Our entire impression of this team will be
Hold that thought. Stephen A., can I just ask you a question really quickly? Do you find it very interesting that Max this year is going so hard for the Patriots? He seems so invested in this New England team and Bill Belichick. I just find it a little curious. Do you?
My response to that is I'm not taking the bait. I am not giving this man an excuse to talk about Tom Brady in association with the New England Patriots at all. I'm
Picking
not
up what I'm putting down,
falling for
Stephen A.
I'm not falling for the okie doke. I'm not giving him any excuse to bring that up. Not at all.
All right.
Ollie,
We'll leave it there.
I resemble that remark.
Please, everybody's got an agenda. The Patriots, first time they've won consecutive games this season and no turnovers as well. We'll see if that continues. When we come back here on First Take, the Eagles' woes continue, this time at the hands of the Giants. Who's most to blame for Philly's struggles? Paging Dan Orlovsky. Tom Brady and the Bucs rebound after a bad loss to the Saints. What will have a bigger impact on their Super Bowl hopes? Brady's offense or the Bucs D? We get into it. Stay here.
Palms get sweaty, backsides get tight.
Oh my God, we haven't seen anything quite like this ever.
This is nothing.
Did you improve on the design? Did you do something new?
The most uninteresting man in the world.
I got a sausage.
You can do better, Steve. Get a freshly made footlong from Subway. You can even order on the Subway app.
Did I just get picked off by Deion Sanders?
You sure did. Now in the app, get a free footlong when you buy two because it's footlong season.
I drive a Pacifica because my kids are winners, and winners deserve the best. These Uconnect theater screens are lit. I just love my Pacifica so much. Ah! With a hybrid, I feel like I can save the world. 2 hours of charging, 520 miles of driving. I like that ratio.
Something for every parent to love with the Pacifica and Pacifica Hybrid. Right now, purchase and get $5,391 below MSRP, plus 0% financing on the 2020 Pacifica Hybrid. Plus, you may qualify for up to a $7,500 federal tax credit.
After 225 years, you'd think we'd look to our past. Nope. We're looking to our future, where we're innovating every day to raise Jim Beam for 225 years to come.
See him in the wild like this.
For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la.
Rated E for everyone.
Robinhood believes now is the time to do money, without the commission fees and account minimums, so you can start investing wherever you are, even on the bus. Download now and get your first stock on us. Robinhood.
It's footlong season at Subway, and Meditron's got some new news. Contactless curbside pickup is here. Just tap for Tasty in the app and pick up contactless. Because it's safety first, right, Tiny Car? You wearing your seatbelt, little man? Subway, eat fresh.
Are you ready for some football? Are you ready to cut off the sleeves, circle the bandwagons, and be hungrier than ever? Because everything is ready to matter, no matter what. Are you ready?
The Timberwolves are on the hunt for a third star.
The makings of a Western Conference playoff team.
Number one pick is wide open.
A transcendent player. What a shot! You've got to be kidding me!
The NBA Draft on ESPN.
We look forward to working with you. We look forward to introducing you and exposing you to our wonderful faculty and staff.
You're not alone. We're here for you. JJC is your college, and this is your journey.
All the students
can get the proper resources they need when they need them.
The one guarantee is that JJC is going to be there with you every step of the way, making sure that you get everything that you need.
I admit it. I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
How about my G-men knocking off your Eagles, Dan Orlovsky? Both teams have a whopping 3 wins now. Good to see you with us. Enjoyed you on Get Up this morning with Rex, Ryan, and Greeny. Good stuff.
Back
Max?
from Augusta.
Yeah, I'm coming to you. Who's most to blame for Philly's struggles? What is going on with this team?
Carson Wentz. I mean, like, how many times do I have to say it? When you get paid $100 million, when you get paid $100 million plus in a guarantee as a quarterback, you are expected to make up for problems on your team, not be the problem on your team. And what do I mean by this? 3rd and 3, it's the first series for the Eagles. On the Giants, 22, 3rd and 3. Carson Wentz is locked in on Rieger, right? You see him, he goes to throw, he pulls it back. I thought Dan would appreciate this. I was thinking, what's Dan Orlovsky thinking right now? He pulls it back, but he stays locked in on him, right? And he tries to force it. He did not convert 1 third down pass. Not convert, get a first down. He didn't complete a pass short of the stick. Like, he did nothing on 3rd down. Dan, this is a guy who was the best 3rd down passer in the league a couple years ago when I thought he was the MVP until he got hurt. That means consistent regression. It's not just what's around him. And if he feels he has to do more to compensate because there's not enough around him, even though he's playing a 2-win Giants team, I know they compete, but they lose a lot, the Giants, then this is what they have to be emphasizing, I'm sure, during the week, right? Like, don't try. We just need you to not try to do too much all the time. Remember what happened last week? He gets in post-game presser and he's talking about this is probably always going to be my problem throughout my career. This is just the way we do things around here. Really? Because a couple weeks ago I said, given his level of talent and his age, it'd be irresponsible, like, to move on from him. And then I said, then a couple weeks later, I'm like, you know what? You're going to have to sit Carson Wentz down. He has to be held accountable. And I referenced Donovan McNabb being sat one year, and then he took his team to the NFC Championship game. There's no accountability for Wentz on this team. I don't know if it's because he has the owner's ear or what it is, but there's no accountability. He can basically do whatever he wants, which is why the kind of mistakes he makes don't get fixed. He was once again outplayed by the opposing quarterback. He is outplayed every single week by the opposing quarterback. He's never posted a quarterback rating better than the opponent this year. Never, not one time. He's 31st in passer rating this year. So and by the way, I identified the regression in the second half of last. I'm actually proud of myself. I apparently saw it, and Orlovsky, who's one of the best, didn't see it. It was regression, and it's continued. The trend has continued. Of course, Wentz is the problem.
Well, first of all, you're always inexplicably proud of yourself. Let's not act like that's new. You're proud of yourself every moment of every day. That's number one. Number two, it's always a hard subject for me to tackle on this show, Molly, Dan Orlovsky, when it comes to Max, because on one hand, I totally disagree with him about Carson Wentz. On the other hand, I'm so proud of him for sticking to this one point. It almost brings tears to my eyes. He has not wavered, not one bit. Nope. The ultimate waffler has not wavered. He has been consistent in his position about Carson Wentz, and it makes me so proud of him that he hasn't danced like the late Fred Astaire or moonwalked like Michael Jackson. I got to give Max credit for that. He is consistent with this Carson Wentz thing, but he's wrong, and here's why he's wrong. Max Kellerman yesterday. Carson Wentz got popped 13 times. 13 times this man got hit yesterday, okay? I mean, they were all over him. There was no protection from the offensive line. You had Jason Kelsey out of the shotgun spot that couldn't snap the damn ball high enough, okay? Kept snapping the ball low. That was problematic. They don't protect them. The receivers aren't getting open all the time. Sometimes they're open and Carson Wentz does miss them. But obviously, most of the time, that's not the case. And then you got the combination of Sanders and Scott running the football. Is there something wrong? I mean, did Miles Sanders do something to somebody? The brother's averaging about 6 yards a carry. He averaged about 5.7 yards a carry yesterday. And oh, by the way, the combination of the two was running the football effectively, yet Doug Peterson decides to give them the ball 18 times. You would think the way that Carson Wentz has been playing, the way that he has struggled, how you've got somebody like Max targeting him every single damn week. Sometimes he gives them reasons to do so. Sometimes he doesn't. You got problems on your offensive line. You would think, in terms of pass protection, you would think you would run the football more, but you never has. Did y'all know that Miles Sanders has never had a 20-carry game in his entire 23-game career in the National Football League? I don't know what the hell Doug Peterson is thinking. We ain't even getting into their defense. We're not even getting into how their linebackers look. We don't even know if they have one. We don't even think about what their secondary looks like. Everything seems discombobulated, and that's why before I even get to Carson Wentz, I got to get to Doug Peterson. Listen, I like the man. I'm fond of him. I think about him winning the Super Bowl with Nick Foles as his quarterback. But ever since that time, let's take into account and just really nail it down here, guys. There's problem at the quarterback position. There's problem at the offensive line position. There's problem with your decision making because you don't run the football as much as you should. There's problem on the defensive side of the ball, particularly with your linebackers and in your secondary. There's problems schematically. Damn, that's a whole lot of problems. I mean, on both sides of the ball, it would be one thing if this is one thing where I could point to the offensive line coach, or this one thing where I could point to the secondary coach, or the defensive coordinator, or the offensive coordinator. Everywhere you look with the Philadelphia Eagles, there's a problem. And that's why I think Doug Peterson is in a world of trouble. The way things are going right now, if it was just a quarterback, it would be Carson Wentz. But because of all of those things, right now, if Doug Peterson doesn't get this ship turned in the right direction, he might be out of a job at the end of this season.
You know, when I started into this business, I did not think that Stephen A's football knowledge was significantly greater than Max's. And after that last 3 minutes, I realized how much more football Stephen A knows than Max. All right, so Max, I'm kind of rip apart your argument. It's right now the biggest problem with the Philadelphia Eagles is their coaching. Okay, so you point, no. You point to the first 3rd and 3, right? That throw to Rager. It's a pick route, Max. It's a one-man route. There is no read. You are trying to pick the outside defender. They ran it against San Francisco twice. They actually ran a very similar play on 4th down 3 plays before. There is no read there. It's catch and throw.
Philly should just hire you.
Molly, I've got 7 points I'm going to make.
I'm just saying, they should.
Needs more power on this team.
They should just hire.
I've got 7 points I'm going to make. Second of all, you had 2 weeks off. And this was the plan to start the game. Like, this was the way that you wanted to come out after 2 weeks off with preparation against a 2-win team. This was the best plan that you can put together to win the football game. Second of all, stop with all the 2-point conversions. They're not needed. You don't get more points throughout the game with more 2-point conversion attempts and successes. There's no point to continuously go for 2-point conversions. I understand analytics play their part. When they play their part, all the 2-point conversion love isn't there, and you're running the consistent same plays. Number 3, stop with the use of Jalen Hurts. It's not working. The Jalen Hurts stuff isn't working. He might be Max's second favorite quarterback in the NFL behind Nick, but it's not working. Third of all, can we get a better plan for quarterback run defense? Did you guys not practice defending quarterback run over the past 2 weeks? Because the last time you played the Giants, Daniel Jones lit you up in it, and they go right down the field their first drive of the game and score off quarterback run. My 2 biggest gripes are this. The 4th down, the 4th and 10 to end the game, you could pick anybody on the Giants defense to throw at except for Bradbury. The ball should not go to Bradbury. The plan should have the ball to go to someone else other than 24 in the defense. But here's my biggest complaint. It took until 7 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the third quarter till you got Carson Wentz out of the pocket. The Giants defense ranks 26th in the NFL defending quarterbacks outside of the pocket. And you took 38 minutes of gameplay to get the guy out of the pocket. So listen, there's a lot of things to point to with this plan.
I love this excuse making.
No, here's the difference between you and I, Max.
Yes, please tell me. I can coordinate my tie to my jacket. What else?
It's easy for you to finger point and go, that player sucks.
Yeah.
My job,
when it's true.
My job is to give reasons why.
Okay, well, that's fine. We have different jobs. But this is called excuse making.
No, it's called
They have to stop. They have to stop with Jalen Hurts. No, they have to stop with Carson Wentz. He's the quarterback. Hold on, let me just go through some things. He's in year 5. Year 5. This is not a second-year player. He's in year 5. You know what his cap hit's going to be for the Eagles next year? Almost
recycle the same stuff.
$5 million cap hit next year for a year 5 quarterback who's second to last in passer rating in the NFL, who is consistently, this season, he has yet to outplay the opponent. These are not franchise quarterbacks he's playing against. These are also Rans backup, second-year player with problems. He has been outplayed by every single quarterback. And what I said, and listen, I'm not saying Carson Wentz doesn't have talent. I'm a huge believer in his talent. But the regression at this point, I don't even know.
So why the regression,
don't
Max?
know if
could it be the coaching?
No, I think he has too much power on the team. I suspect it's a direct line to the owner, and I think he has not been held accountable. And as a result, the regression continues.
So you think I'm making excuses, and I know you're making assumptions.
He went from the number 1 player in the league on the money down, on third down, to dead last. He has 0-0 on the money down. He was 0 against the Giants yesterday, a weak NFC East opponent.
That defense is a top 10 defense.
It's still happening.
The Giants are a top 10 defense.
Is it still happening, yes or no? Is Wentz, the regression that I identified last year, is it continuing this year, yes or no?
No.
Impervious to reality. Stephen A., I stick to my guns, so you're aware. I stick to my point when the evidence supports my point. That's why I'm still on Carson Wentz. When it doesn't support my point, I change my mind.
Well, you can say that, and I get where you're coming from. The problem is you usually have 6 or 7 points, and we're trying to remember which one you were making.
They're all great points.
This one we do remember all the time, which is what I like.
I see.
All right, we got to leave it there. All right, when we come back here on First Take, Tom Brady and the Bucs rebound after a bad loss to the Saints. What will have a bigger impact on their Super Bowl hopes, Brady's offense or the Bucs D? And he may be a rookie, but he's looking like a vet. Which team is the bigger Super Bowl sleeper, the Fins or the Raiders?
Straight like that, straight like that, straight like that, straight.
Outside can be sweet and salty and sunny and stormy. With crunchy roasted peanuts and creamy nut butter coating, Nature Valley's sweet and salty bars. Enjoy it all outside.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
Doug.
You know, Limu, after all these years, it's the ones that got away that haunt me the most. Because you're not like everybody else. That's why Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
What?
Oh, I said.
Oh, this is my floor.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Next time you carry out 3-topping Domino's pizzas for $7.99 each, try Domino's Carside Delivery. Just check in online and we'll quickly and safely bring out your food so you don't have to get out to get carry-out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin, I like your PJs.
Ever wonder why someone would go to the ends of the earth and leap into the unknown? Maybe a better question is, what are you waiting for? Pacifico is brewed for those who follow their own path. That's living life anchors up.
Your house brought you together. Like, really together. And although together is great, together with more space is better. With Rocket Mortgage, you get personalized loan options, closing costs, and tax estimates all in real time. So when you need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family, Rocket can.
For over 30 years, Lexus has been celebrating driveway moments. Here's to one more. The Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Get 0% financing on all new 2020 and 2021 Lexus models.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Bad Boy, the masculine fragrance by Carolina Herrera.
Good Girl, feminine fragrance by Carolina Herrera. At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Setting up Simply Safe is so easy. You could do it blindfolded. But I wouldn't recommend it. Anyone can do it in less than 30 minutes.
Welcome to Simply Safe.
No tools or wiring needed, and voice prompts guide you.
Motion sensor detected.
Well, that was easy.
Ready to relax, recover, and unwind? You need Sharper Image Massage, bringing you the latest innovations and technologies in massage. The design of the Power Boost percussion massager utilizes quiet drive technology for game-changing sports recovery, and our calming heat combines weighted clay beads with massaging vibrations in the soothing relief of a heating pad. Treat yourself to the ultimate massage experience from Sharper Image at sharpermassagers.com. See our full line of innovations in health, wellness, and recovery at a retailer near you.
Hey, we have another full hour of debate coming up on First Take. Will Teflon Tom's offense lead the Bucs to a Super Bowl win, or will the Bucs defense carry the GOAT to another title? And did the Kyler to Hopkins Hail Mary put the Cards atop the NFC's elite? Plus, listen to this, with James Harden joining KD and Kyrie mean an instant championship in BK. All that and more coming up on First Take. Don't go anywhere.
I know this is not a popular stance, so be it.
If you zip it right now, you'd have got your feelings hurt.
He's being sensitive. It's so comically bad.
I mean, damn! He dissed him, man! That's very disrespectful!
For over 30 years, Lexus has been celebrating driveway moments. Here's to one more. The Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Lease the 2021 NX300 for $349 a month for 36 months and we'll make your first month's payment.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
At CDW, we get you want happy, productive employees.
That's why we've made our office pet-friendly. Maybe a little too pet-friendly.
Well, you know, CDW can design a mobility solution with light, powerful devices from Lenovo to make your people more productive in or out of the office.
Anyone have any questions before we go? That's great. I really need to get out of here. Snake people are freaking me out.
Hey, Cheryl, do you have a sec?
For workplace productivity, you need Lenovo and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world. Always connected, but somehow alone. Trapped by illusion. We offer another path where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling. United by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Wendy's didn't start the chicken wars. They just ended them with Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich. Nothing beats It's this classic. Grab it now in Wendy's 2 for $5.
Rated T for teen.
Whenever you say Spider-Man, you always mean the other one. You're Spider-Man. You can fix this. Your way.
This is my time. I'm seizing the moment cause I gotta go for the time's gone. Ain't scared of the dark cause I'm bringing the light with a knife on. Just a moment, I'ma make it mine. This is my time.
PlayStation.
For over 30 years, Lexus has been celebrating driveway moments. Here's to one more, the Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Lease the 2021 IS300 for $339 a month for 36 months and we'll make your first month's payment.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Can they play in front of empty gyms?
How are they going to keep players engaged?
We just sit here and hope that they can make it work.
Here we go.
We didn't know if we were going to get here, but we're here.
Tonight, we begin this 2020 season playing in front of a bunch of cardboard cutouts.
How gratifying is tonight? It's amazing to be back.
Is this as weird for you guys as it is for us?
That's the guy. 3.7 seconds remaining.
Come on.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Doncic wins the game at the buzzer.
Enrolling at J.
You should know better. Be wise with your time. You should know better. Now that you're mine, you should know better. Be wise with your time. You should know better. Now that you're mine, 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 and you know you're mine, now that you're mine, and you know you're mine. See the light of dawn. See the light of dawn. Fading back. Fading up. No such thing as time. No such thing as time. Fade upward. Fading up. You should know better. Be wise with your time. You should know better. Now that you're mine. Now that you're mine. Now that you're mine. Now that you're mine. Now that you're mine, and you know you're mine. that you're mine, and you know you're mine.
opportunities for leadership and involvement.
JJC has many services, including disability services, that can help students feel successful and comfortable in their college lives.
I was introduced to this world of laughter and friendship and family and lessons.
I've always been really good at math and science, and I knew I wanted to work in healthcare, but not as a doctor. So I chose Lawrence Tech's biomedical engineering program. I pushed myself to take internships, like this one, at a hospital in an orthopedic research lab. Thanks to Lawrence Tech's unique, hands-on style of education, I'm graduating with a published research paper and a job. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Welcome back to First Take. We're coming to you live from above the Chase River deck at Pier 17. Oh, good, Max, your ride's here, so you'll be able to get home okay. The team plane being stuck on the runway for 7 hours Saturday did not seem to negatively impact Tampa Bay's performance against the Panthers. Tom Brady going off for 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 341 total yards. Ryan Clark gracing our screens for this debate. But Max, I'm starting with you since you're the expert on all things Tom Brady. All right, talk to me. Who's going to have the bigger impact on Tampa's Super Bowl hopes? Do you think it's his offense or the Bucs' defense?
Oh, well, I'll be called a hater, and it's not sexy, but it's the defense. Last time Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, last time he lost a Super Bowl, he hung an enormous number on the Eagles, right? You got to give it to him. He played a great game, but his team lost.
Yards.
Yeah, that was an amazing performance. He was still performing at an incredibly high level. The following season, when they beat the Rams, that was the lowest scoring Super Bowl in the history of the NFL. The lowest scoring Super Bowl. They barely had to do anything on offense. It was a defensive struggle. And in fact, the defense in the running game carried Brady. Game manager is not a dirty word. Be big on third down when you need to. Don't turn the ball over. Let the defense in the running game do their thing. And that stuff plays hand in hand. And it worked, right? It's like a positive feedback loop. And it worked. But that's how Brady won with the Patriots when last seen. And this season, what's happened so far? Why do we really like the Bucs? Because of Tom Brady? Well, certainly he's an effective game manager plus, on that team for sure. With those weapons, it's ridiculous. And he's looked very good. I'm not taking credit away from him. I'm being honest. He's looked really good, I think. He knows how to use those weapons. They haven't always been healthy. And I get it. Evans and Godwin and AB and all those guys. Yes, it's good. But guys, the defense is the reason that we think of the Bucs differently from some of these other high-scoring teams. It's the defense. You know what's the number one defense in the NFL by a lot of metrics? It's the Bucs, and most of them have them in the top 3 in the NFL. So if you're riding maybe the elite defense in the league, by the way, just look at what happened yesterday, right? We're talking about a game that is competitive until the second half when the defense clamps down. And what the Panthers have total offense in the second half, 5 yards, 20 yards, 50 yards, not much. As soon as the defense clamped down, the game was over. Not taking credit away from Tom Brady, and they have a high-flying offense, but the defense is what separates the Bucs. And if they win a Super Bowl, it's going to be a huge reason why.
Well, listen, here's the deal. The fact of the matter is we started thinking about this defense. We started thinking about this team differently from the moment Tom Brady arrived because we didn't have to worry about a quarterback giving new meaning for 30 for 30 with Jameis Winston, who threw 30 interceptions to go along with his 33 touchdowns, nor was it were we thinking about the fact that for the first time in NFL history, a quarterback deserved to be named Defensive Player of the Year because that's what Jameis Winston looked like last year. We didn't have to worry about that with Tom Brady this year. Certainly the defense is definitely formidable, and that's a big story because last year they were ranked 29th in the league defensively. Now they're ranked 8th. They had the 30th ranked defense against the pass. Now it's 10. They still have the number 1 ranked defense against the run. We get all of that about Tampa Bay, but it's about this offense. It's about Tom Brady. It's about Antonio Brown, who had about seven receptions for 69 yards yesterday. It's about him with Godwin and Evans and Gronk. Even though he only had 2 receptions for 51 yards yesterday, one was a 44-yard catch. We're just seeing him in big moments step up and really make his presence felt. With O.J. Howard being gone for the year, and you're looking at a situation where we've got Gronk to go along with Antonio Brown, Godwin, Evans. And oh, by the way, even though the numbers say Tampa Bay is like 23rd rank in the run, Ronald Jones Jr. is averaging over 5 yards a carry. Leonard Fournette is averaging over 4 yards a carry. It's not like they don't have a running game. So they've got a running game. They've got pass blockers. They've got a passer in Tom Brady. They've got weapons at the receiver spot all over the place, with Gronk elevating his level of play. Yes, we can give credit to the defense because it's vastly improved, and we understand that. But in the end, whether it's scoring points, moving the chains, or doing both, the key to Tampa's success is going to come down to Tom Brady and that offense and how formidable they can be.
Hey, real quick,
scaring the living hell out of the opponents.
I'm sorry, RC, real quick. What does one play and 98 yards do to your yards per carry, do you think? I think it would help it. It would jack it up.
But what was Ronald Jones doing before that?
I don't know, but that
he was averaging over 4 yards a carry before that.
Maybe, yeah, sure. I mean, the median. I wonder what the median yards per carry. The mean is high. Yeah,
you're just talking about yesterday. I was talking about the season.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Listen, Ronald Jones has been good. Leonard Fournette has been great in pass protection, also on third down, catching the football. And obviously, we understand all the weapons they have outside. But it's about this defense. The Mondays that we get on this show, or the days after the games when we get on this show and we raved about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it was the days the defense played really good. Like when they played the Green Bay Packers and Tom passed for about 165. We weren't in here like, oh my goodness, this offense is so good, because it was 10-0, and then Jamel Dean gets an interception. And then the next drive, then Carlton Davis forces an interception with a PBU against Devontae Adams, and that's when the onslaught starts. And then the next week they play the Las Vegas Raiders, who are a really good football team, and we got Devin White with 3 sacks, 11 tackles. He's running sideline to sideline, blasting Derek Carr. And we started saying, okay, now this is the team, right? This is the most complete team in the NFC, because we understand what they can do offensively, but when this defense shows up, it's different. And then when the defense doesn't play as well, when the defense isn't balling, we don't really know. Even in the first half yesterday, Tom Brady was as good as we'd ever seen him all season, but the defense was getting carved up by Teddy a little bit. Teddy was efficient. Teddy had a high completion percentage. They continued to move the ball, and you were like, oh, it looks all right. Then JPP gets the interception. Then they start to get a couple of sacks. They knock Teddy Bridgewater out of the game. And then you start to think, now, this is the team we were expecting to win the NFC. The offense is going to do what they do. If they protect Tom Brady, they will move the football. What elevates this team to a different stratosphere, why it looked so bad when they played against the New Orleans Saints, and New Orleans Saints play so great defensively, is because it's going to be the team that figures out championship defense that wins the NFC. So it's going to be about Devin White. It's going to be about Shaq Barrett. It's going to be about that secondary, that very young but talented secondary, making plays, turning the football over, and giving Tom Brady extra possessions, because that's how a team will win the NFC.
Well, let me tell you before I give it to Max, let me tell you where I disagree with you, Ryan. I disagree with you in terms of what we talked about when Tampa Bay had won these games. Obviously, we recognize the fact that defense wins championships. I just finished saying that a few segments ago. We understand that. But what I'm saying is when we talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you want to compartmentalize when we raved about them, well, let me remind you, when they dropped 38 on the Chargers, we raved about that offense. Right. When they dropped 38 on Green Bay, we raved about that offense. When they dropped 45 on the Raiders, we raved about that offense. What I'm saying, I'm not trying to say that we didn't mention the defense, because we know they vastly improved. But we raved about it, and then we spent a couple of weeks talking about Antonio Brown because of how formidable they were going to be offensively, even more so that they got that for the injuries. I'm not saying defense don't matter, guys. I'm just saying that when we look at Tampa, the reason why we've got them as a championship on this level when we're talking about them, it's because of what we're fantasizing about with that damn offense.
Everything you just said, I'm not going to hold that against Brady, because he was working with injuries and he's in a new system and they have to figure it out. His style of play is very different from Arians' style of play. So I'm not, but were it not for that, I think what you would be bringing up is an indictment on Brady. In other words, there are all these weapons and all this stuff, and we're focusing on the offense, and they're a top third offense. They're a top 3 defense. If you look at a Super Bowl contender and say, top 3 defense, top third offense, what's going to win the Super Bowl for them? It's going to be the defense.
11th ranked offense, 4th defense.
Can I tell you why your point? Let me hold on, Molly. Let me tell Max why his point doesn't matter. Because when I brought it up about the Rams being a top 2 defense, you didn't take that in the heart. You didn't give a damn about that when you were talking about Russell Wilson. But suddenly now that they top 3 defense in Tampa, we got to elevate them when the Rams are the top 2 defense.
We there are predicting what's going to be a bigger influence, Russell Wilson's offense or the Rams' defense.
All right.
That's very different. If Russell Wilson was on the Bucs, they might be undefeated right now.
Just remember, Stephen A. has rabbit ears. He's always listening, and he will hold it against you at a later
Sometimes
date.
he'll say things that you said that you never said.
Forever.
Ryan knows what I'm talking
Ryan's
about.
sticking around here with us. He may be a rookie, but he's looking like a vet. Shout out to Drake. Which team is the bigger Super Bowl sleeper, the Fins or the Raiders? And apparently, James Harden would consider reuniting with KD in Brooklyn. What the what? Would Harden, KD, and Kyrie be able to stop the Lakers from a repeat?
DeAndre Hopkins just looked like it. Here's the bottom line.
It's damn near a fireable offense.
By hook or by crook. When it's mattered most, he's been ice cold.
You can huff, you can puff, but you ain't blowing nobody's house down this way.
You give your courage. When we need you most, you give us hope. And when we look around, even now, you show us who we are at our best and why we serve.
During the Black Friday sales event with employee pricing for all, get $8,671 below MSRP on the 2020 Ram 1500.
Outside your window, the wild is still wild. And warm and full of wonder. Outside your window, the wild is waiting. Don't forget to bring a snack. Nature Valley. We are better outside.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
Hey! Yeah? I switched to Geico and got more. More savings on car insurance. They helped with homeowners, too. Okay. Plus, motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance. Geico's got you covered. Like a blanket.
Houston, you seeing this?
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Addie and Key Hooper reviewed the Popeye's chicken sandwich, and it was pure joy.
over here.
Get the sandwich for just $3.99. And don't forget to order a delicious Cajun turkey.
Love that chicken from Popeye.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But not for your clients. That's why we're a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios?
Nope. We tailor portfolios to our clients' needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right?
We don't have those.
So what's in it for you?
Our fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Are you losing your hair? Capillus treats pattern hair loss with proven laser therapy.
Laser therapy is an FDA-cleared treatment for hair loss. What laser therapy does, it reboots that blood supply. It reestablishes blood flow, oxygenation. It's a very effective treatment for hair loss.
Using the cap is very simple. I sit pretty much right here, watch TV, and I have it on.
Save up to $500 when you shop our Capillus Cool Winter Sale. Call 888-441-3755 or visit capillus.com.
there's a lot of uncertainties, but the one certainty, the one guarantee is that JJC is going to be there with you. I can still pursue my studies and even partake in different JJC activities and clubs while being safe at home.
They already know this fall that all their classes will be online, so that helps the parent know what the future brings.
I'm on the Blue Devil football team, and that's a great place to be, because other colleges wouldn't let me be both a football player and a nursing student. And just because I'm a dog on the field doesn't mean I can't take care of people. And man, do I love people. The small class sizes at LTU give me awesome access to my nursing professors. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Monday Night Football, the Vikings have won 2 straight. Will take on the 5-3 Bears, who are trying to stay within striking distance of the Packers in the NFC North. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. The Dolphins and Raiders making noise in the AFC. A win against the Chargers yesterday makes Tua 3-0 in his first 3 starts. Last year's top draft pick, 5 TDs, 0 interceptions. The Raiders coming off a double-digit victory against the Broncos, led by multiple touchdowns by both running backs. RC still here with us. Stephen A. Smith, I like this question. Who's the bigger Super Bowl sleeper? Is it the Finns or the Raiders?
Well, I think it's the Raiders. Me personally, I'm very impressed with Miami, and I love the fact that African Americans like Chris Greer, the GM, and Brian Flores, the head coach, are doing the things that they're doing. Major props to them. But I just think that right now, if I had to pick it at this particular moment in time, not the future, not next season or beyond, just right now, I would think about the Las Vegas Raiders. They ran the ball 36 times yesterday, basically mainly with Josh Jacobs, of course, getting the ball about 21 times. They run the football effectively. We understand that. Derek Carr is having a good season. They'll throw the football in the weeks to come with Waller and those boys, but they run the football and they defend. Now, yesterday was damn near a bye week, so it's hard to gauge and change my position because they were going against the Denver Broncos yesterday, who they ramrodded because Denver stinks, and we all know that, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. You're going against Drew Lock. He didn't do anything for the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, he had a touchdown, but the bottom line is you didn't expect much from him, and he did not give you much. But I just look at the Raiders right now, just the brand of football that they're playing, particularly with running the football and with their defense keeping them competitive. I like what I see, especially with the elevated efficiency of Derek Carr. Tua Tagovailoa can ball, and I think he's got a tremendous upside. We'll see as the season progresses. But I think with what we're seeing from Derek Carr, what we're seeing from that running game, and what we're seeing from the mystique of the Raiders playing like that to some degree, right now, I just give them a slight edge from a sleeper status compared to Miami. That's just how I feel about it.
I like Miami, and I agree that football is better when Miami and the Raiders, when the Dolphins and the Raiders are they're like the national teams, the Cowboys, the Steelers, because of what they did in the 70s especially, and the Patriots because of recent times. You know, you have some the Dolphins and the Raiders want to be national teams, and they have a national following, but they're usually not good enough to be there. They are now, and I think the Dolphins have the best shot. Yes, even though they have a rookie quarterback, and some of it has to do with the rookie quarterback, but mostly it has to do with the coach. You brought up Brian Flores, Stephen A., and African-American and minority, so-called minority coaches in the NFL. There are few of them, and imagine how good they had to be to get their positions. Brian Flores, by the way, see that? Right behind me. Brooklyn. That's Brooklyn. That's where he went to high school, Poly Prep in Brooklyn. Brian Flores, who coached all over the place for the New England Patriots for years. What do I always say about the NFL? The coaches league, right? Major League Baseball, it's about the GM. NBA, it's about your star player. NFL's about the coach. And they got one in Brian Flores, who last year, this team was so bad, we asked, is it the worst in NFL history? By the end of the season, they beat the Patriots in the game the Patriots needed to have. And right now, they are on a roll. And they're beating good teams on this roll. Whatever you think about the Chargers, they've beaten some good teams. They got a coach. They got a coach. Are they quitting on the coach? No, they're not quitting. He coached them up. They got a coach, and they got a quarterback too, guys. You know who Tua reminds me of, Tagovailoa, right now? In a way, of Brady or Russell Wilson, or a bit like Dak Prescott when they were first coming into the league, when really they were asked, just don't mess this up. We have a really aggressive, good defense. We got a running game. We got a coach, right? Don't mess this up. But Tua, and then try to be big on third down when we need you to. Can you make a play here and there? But Tua, unlike those guys, didn't come in as a 4th round or a 6th round or a 3rd round pick. He came in as a very high 1st round pick who, had it not been for his injury, may have been the 1st overall pick, right? He came in with the knowledge. We've seen him in big games in college. We know he has upper echelon talent. So not only is he right now just game manage. Just don't mess this up. Let the defense do its thing. Let the running game do its thing. But we know, we've seen it in Tua. We expect that if he does need to make the spectacular play, he ain't surprising anybody by making it. Stephen A., there was once a very talented young Miami quarterback who took him to a Super Bowl right away. They didn't win it, but he took them there. And Tua might be another one.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I hear you guys. I think both of these teams have opportunities to make some noise going down the stretch of the season. Also in the playoffs, you look at the Raiders. The Raiders are the only team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And now you watch this last stretch that the Miami Dolphins have been on, especially now inserting Tua Tagovailoa and us watching him do a little bit more each and every week. And absolutely, when you think about the coaching of Brian Flores, the way he kept this team together down the stretch last year, the way that he's coached this team and making the difficult decision to move from Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was playing pretty well throughout this season, had this team at 500 on to Tua Tagovailoa because they felt like his ceiling was higher. But like the Buffalo Bills don't play football no more? I mean, yeah, they struggle. You had the Tennessee Titans game and then the Kansas City Chiefs game, but Buffalo Bills play both of these teams. And there's gonna be the excuses. You lose a guy. If you're the Miami Dolphins, you lose a starting corner, and now you have to play a rookie. That guy was matched up on Stephon Diggs. Xavier Howard is playing better now. But the Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills went to Las Vegas and beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Buffalo Bills, if not for an amazing play by 2 of the greatest talents in the NFL, and that's Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, they have another win yesterday, and they're going into the bye week 8-2, and we're talking about the way Josh Allen struggled in the second half, but was able to drive this team. The way Cole Beasley executed, the way Stephon Diggs executed. I mean, that's not a team we talk about each and every week to win the Super Bowl, right?
I'm just saying, Stephen A. and I were asked about sleepers last week. No one was talking Dolphins or Raiders. I think the Bills, maybe they're a sleeper, but you got a lot of people saying they're the best team in the division, especially a week ago.
Go ahead, Stephen A.
No, I said that's where I agree with Max. And I think the operative word here is sleeper, Ryan. We came in. Remember, I came into the season thinking that the Buffalo Bills would win the division. Well, we didn't see Miami coming this quickly, and we didn't see the Raiders. And while we can praise Brian Flores, and I'm going to, I love doing that, I cannot ignore the job that John Gruden has done along with Mike Mayock. They've done a good job in Oakland. And I tell you right now, let's think about Antonio Brown for a second. Yeah, you in Tampa now, but you making basically $1 million to $2 million, where all you had to do was shut up for 4 days and you would have been making $29 million in Las Vegas.
Not the best business decision.
What do you want me to say?
Not the best. By the way, let me say one thing about Gruden. I agree, he's done a very good job, and he traded Khalil Mack early, and it's like, boy, this better work out. And it's trending in the right direction, and Carr's been playing better, and he's a Super Bowl coach. However, he deserves credit for being a Super Bowl coach. He took over a team and took them over the top, a team that had been coached by an excellent coach in Dungy for many years, and looked like they were on the precipice when he took over this team. This is a real rebuild job for him. Let's see how it goes. It's trending right. Brian Flores took over nothing. He took over absolutely nothing. Yeah. And look at the Dolphins right now.
No question. Both teams.
But he's doing what Gruden did. Remember, Gruden got rid of Khalil Mack.
Yep.
Gruden bet his money on Derek Carr. And they changed a whole bunch of things in Oakland and now Las Vegas. Chris Greer moved dudes out, got a whole bunch of picks, retooling this. They're basically doing it the same way.
All right, I'll leave you with this. Both teams are 6-3, but Oakland has played the second most difficult schedule in the NFL thus far. Yes, Vegas, excuse me. Thank you, Stephen A. D-Hop with the catch of the year, guys. Are the Cardinals legit Super Bowl contenders? We tackled that, and apparently James Harden would consider reuniting with KD in Brooklyn. Would Harden, KD, and Kyrie be able to stop the Lakers from a repeat? Can't wait for that combo. Stay here. It's First Take.
Are you gonna quit now? Are you gonna get down? Crying on a...
Okay, Limu, you said it. Then as I spike it, I'll tell them how Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance, so they only pay for what they need. Got it? Did you get that? Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Still driving the old model, huh?
Yeah, I've been looking, but I just need someone to tell me what a good price is.
Just use Auto Trader. It's the only one with Kelley Blue Book. It tells you if the price is good.
Hey, how's she doing that with the door? What is she, some sort of goddess?
Athena.
Persephone?
Hera.
Dionysus?
No, I'm Claire.
Is that one?
No clue.
Ugh.
How do you make a Pinot Noir taste like no other? Start with grapes from 3 California regions, push flavor in new directions, and put a bear on the label. Made like no other for a taste like no other. Mayomi, flavor forward.
Wendy's didn't start the chicken wars. They just ended them with Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich. Nothing beats this classic. Grab it now in Wendy's 2 for $5.
Every superhero has an origin story. We all got our start somewhere. For us, it was the U.S. Air Force.
Hey phone, connect to Wi-Fi.
Connecting to hackers and cybercriminals.
You're not listening, I said Wi-Fi.
I am listening, and I might not be the only one. Hackers can see what you send over Wi-Fi or steal what's on your device.
Well, how do I stop them?
Norton 360. It includes a VPN for online privacy, device security, and more.
Keep prying eyes out. Go to norton.com/privacy.
10 years ago, we found a Loan Depot because we were confident we could deliver the American dream of home ownership to individuals and families across the nation.
Serving more than 27,000 customers a month, lowering payments, providing jobs, and investing in neighborhoods and communities nationwide.
We know what it means to put down roots and bring dreams to life.
At Loan Depot, we know.
Home means everything.
Well, you wanted the quiet life, John. Dead batteries, empty streets.
Welcome to Advanced Auto Parts.
I need one of those.
I'm coming for you!
Don't spoil it. We've asked this question like 15 times. What the hell is it? It's vodka. What do you mean, Acadian? You should know what I mix with my vodka. It's the Crystal Light that I put in here. The blackberry limeade. This is my lemon water. Because I love lemon water. So I chase lemon water with this. Yeah, I'm not lightweight. That's the thing. I'll drink you under the table, honey. Don't get it fucking twisted.
Stuff and I should know. I mean, yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't know with food. You haven't really seen me eat. You've seen me drink when I was like 16 though. But that's a different story. Why are you so fat? Because I want to be. Why are you such an asshole? Chili doesn't have to be spicy. I mean, I guess that's true. There are like sweet chilies What would a sweet chili be like on that Scosville thing? Where are you in 15 July? How the fuck would I know, dude? That's like over almost a year away. We're trying a few spice candies. I don't think I've ever tried spice candies. Else is definitely something I've forgotten. Isn't extremely spicy. I can make it so if I want. My go-to for extra spiciness.
Wait, what the fuck? Minder? Called X mode, which then sells to the contractors, and the U.S. military is buying location data about Muslims retrieved by Muslim dating and prayer apps. What the fuck? That's some fucking freak shit, dude. What? The U.S. military is buying granular location data
My dad is on a ventilator
of people harvested from ordinary smartphone apps through document sources and technical analysis. We also identify specific apps. The biggest is a Muslim prayer app with 98 million downloads. Wonder what they're going to do with this information. All right. Once this is over, it'll segue perfectly into what's going on in El Paso.
And then you do it over again. And we're so thankful for the lessons we've learned along the way, and we're doing a good job of taking care of the people that come in, and we're managing our patient loads here right now. Sometimes it's day to day, sometimes it's hour to hour. But the reality is that right now it's not getting better. You said just as you started the show, 50 to 60% positivity rate. I mean, our entire state has 880,000 people. It doesn't take much to do the math on that for how many of us are sick.
Oh my gosh. When you hear your governor, Kristi Noem, say, my people are happy. They're happy because they're free. What's your response?
I think it's frustrating as a healthcare provider because the last thing that we ask anyone when they seek care.
Nothing more freeing than the freedom to die as you're gasping for breath away from your friends and family, as you deny that this virus is real and that it's somehow China and Demon Rat's fault. That's real freedom, brother. Wearing a mask to make sure that if you have it, you don't give it to the fucking cashier. That's not freedom. That's Orwellian, brother.
There is how they voted or if they're a Democrat or a Republican. The last thing we ever think about is that. What we think about is, how can I help you? And so anybody that uses any chance to make this political makes any healthcare provider want to scream, because at the end of the day, we just want to help. And if we don't get some help from the public as far as mask wearing and social distancing,
like the wildest part about this is like, how we look back at like the Salem witch trials and shit and say like, wow, that's really horrible that they were just like literally, murdering women. Or we look back at the horrific consequences of slavery, right? But there's still a fucking financial component there. Like, or at least there is still an otherizing of an outside group. In this circumstance, you're literally killing yourself. Okay? In this circumstance, unlike the previous two instances that I just mentioned, you're not enacting pain and suffering on others, but literally on yourself and refusing to recognize it. Okay? Like, in a way, it's no different. In a way, it's no different than all of these horrible things that we've done in the past to outgroups.
In a similar way.
But in this circumstance, you're literally killing yourself to own the libs, I guess. And that's fucking insane to me.
There's a thing on the internet right now that says, I'm not your first line of defense, I'm your last. And that actually is true in South Dakota, that by the time you get to me and the team that we work with, it might be too late for some. And that is heartbreaking because the reality is we're a small state. The town I live in has 650 people, and we have 680 deaths right now. I mean, that's my entire town wiped off the map. We know these people. We go to school with them, church, grocery store. It's every small town story you've ever heard.
But just so I understand, Nurse Doring, you have more deaths than you have people in your town.
Yeah, in the state of South Dakota, I haven't looked in the last few hours. I think we had 683. Don't quote me on that. But the town I live in has 650 people. So when you put in perspective, and people listen to me talk about this for the last 9 months, that's every single person in our town gone. That's pretty mind-blowing. If we had a tornado that came through and killed 20 people, we would stop and look, and the national news would be there. And so the fact that we have this many deaths in a town or in a state this size is mind-blowing to me, and it's not currently getting.
Taco Bell's grilled cheese burrito is filled with nacho cheese sauce and a delicious 3-cheese blend. And even more melty cheese is grilled on top. Get your hands on a grilled cheese burrito, only at Taco Bell.
The way they look, but I'm just saying. In your next life, what animal do I want to be? That's a good question. I would love to be a monkey. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm getting really tired. I gotta get some food, but I love you guys. Oh yeah, let's see who's on. Let's raid Sheriff Bananas. Sheriff Bananas. I can actually do it from my computer. Say Proto, thank you so much for the gifted subs. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Say Proto, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the stream today. Yeah, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for that gifted sub, Zay Proto. I appreciate that. You guys are wonderful. Thank you again so much for all of the love today. You guys are great. I'm going to head off stream. I'm going to raid you guys over to, I have my computer so I can
participate in the fucking labor force, the labor market that we're all beholden to, that absolutely sucks ass. But now on top of that, they also have fucking PTSD and lose their shit while trying to figure out which fucking cereal they want to buy at Walmart. Or lose their minds when fucking 4th of July fireworks are also being fired to celebrate those same soldiers. It's fucking bullshit. What's the number?
Hey, that's my line.
Die-Hard batteries, owned and sold by Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts.
Hiring is challenging, especially for key roles.
Finding the right people is a very difficult task. ZipRecruiter finds us the best people for the job. They sent my jobs to the top job sites and found people with the right skills and experience. We've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
ZipRecruiter, rated the #1 hiring site. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/fans.
Package for John?
Okay, thanks.
Did you know Ring lets you keep an eye on the front door, the backyard,
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Mrs. Thompson.
and everything in between? Smart security made simple. Learn more at ring.com.
See yourself.
Welcome back to the mirror.
And know you're not alone. Because this
Come on, Jesse, one more.
is a reflection of an unstoppable community. In the mirror.
Are you ready to bear down on Monday night?
So we got it, this moment right here.
Can Foles catch some magic for a playoff push?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Can the Vikings knock off a fierce division rival? Are you ready for Monday night?
The 74th annual NBA Draft is Wednesday. It'll be the first virtual one. Welcome to 2020. Our coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Radio, and the app.
Murray back to throw, rolling left in trouble, got to launch it. He does. Into the end zone, jump ball. Is it caught? Oh my goodness, it's caught. DeAndre Hopkins caught it. He caught it for a touchdown with 1 second left. I can't believe it.
Hoppy made a lot of impressive catches over the years. Where's this one going to rank right now?
This one is number one. It was the winning game, no question.
The catch heard round the world, Patrick Mahomes weighing in. D-Hop is a monster. LeBron adding, wow, 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 hop, hop, hop. My bro, he's different. RC still here with us. He has a segment about his tweets. That's on Get Up, though. Guys, look at the NFC West. 3 teams tied in the first spot at 6-3. We're going to get to see 2 of them on Thursday Night Football this week. That'll be fun. Max, tell me this. Are the Cards legit Super Bowl contenders?
I think the answer is yes. And I think if you can come out of the NFC West, if your number, which could happen, I mean, they could win it. If you ask me who I like Seattle. Stephen, I know you like the Rams. It could be the Cardinals. If you're even in this position at this point in the season, especially when you're just now getting some defensive players back, when your first-round draft pick hasn't really played up to his potential on defense yet, but is starting to get some time. If you're already in this position, yeah, I have to say, if you come out of the toughest division in football, which could happen, of course you're a real Super Bowl contender. And more than that, if you can just keep it close. We saw what Kyler Murray can do with DeAndre Hopkins. Think about a playoff game. You're the team that Arizona's playing against. Your team is playing against the Arizona Cardinals. And they're hanging tough. And it's a close game. And Kyler Murray has his hands on the ball at the end of the game. You are sweating. It's like a nightmare because, as Ryan Clark said, DeAndre Hopkins in traffic may be the best who ever did it. He's on a short list at the very least, right? A contested ball.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray, imagine that. You could do everything right defensively again on both ends of the play. Everything right defensively on Kyler Murray, everything right defensively on DeAndre Hopkins, and it still may be an under 50-50 proposition for you to stop them from scoring at the end of the game. All they got to do is keep it close, and they've shown the ability to do that. And they've shown the ability to win the kinds of games that you're thinking you're supposed to lose this game, like against Seattle in overtime, like against the Bills just now. Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals have to be considered legit, especially when their defense is healthy, legit Super Bowl contenders.
You know what? I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, Max. I get where you're coming from, and I certainly get where Ryan Clark is coming from about D-Hop and obviously Kyler Murray. But can y'all vibe with me on this one? I gotta see. And you know why I feel that way? It's because of Lamar Jackson. What do we say? Max, am I doing you right? Lamar Jackson. 25 and that's how you talk about him, right? In the regular season. But come postseason time, that running ability, that electrifying running ability, we need to see more of what he's going to do come postseason. Now, I think, personally speaking, in terms of the eye test, I think he is a better natural thrower of the football than Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's a little better running the football, but Kyler Murray has proven to be electrifying in and of himself. You've got Kenyon Drake running the football for them. You've got D-Hop along with Larry Fitzgerald, along with this kid Christian Kirk that they've utilized as well. I understand it. But I will keep in mind, the last 3 games, they've given up 30 or more. Plus, for the last 6 games, they've given 30 or more. You can score on this Arizona Cardinals defense. And you can force Kyler Murray to make some mistakes. He's thrown 8 interceptions on the season thus far, which is not awful. I'm just saying, I look at them right now, and when I think about some of the elite teams in the National Football League, it remains to be seen. I think that they're right there. I think that they'll make more noise in the future because Kyler Murray is that dude. I'm just not sold on them right now as of yet. I gotta see come postseason time. I gotta see it to believe it.
Stephen A., you don't even have to hedge that bet. You are not wrong. This isn't the year.
They are a year ahead. And if you listen to what some other people thought about me, even yourself, when they went to hire Cliff Kingsbury, you didn't expect them to be here. When they decided that they were going to move on from Josh Rosen and draft this 5'10" quarterback out of Oklahoma first overall, people didn't buy in. People didn't believe it. And it's just so happened that that dude that plays quarterback, Kyler Murray, is so talented. You get somebody to be dumb enough to trade you DeAndre Hopkins, and now you sped the process up a little bit. And listen, Vance Joseph, who is probably the most famous alum from my high school, the only one to ever win a state championship at quarterback. I couldn't do it. Vance Joseph has some more work to do with this defense. That you score a little bit too easily. You're having to depend on Kyler Murray and late game heroics a little too much for me, but they're just a year off. You know, you look at some of those top tier teams, you think New Orleans Saints, you think the Green Bay Packers. I believe that the Rams are one of those teams that could ascend. I believe the Arizona Cardinals are right in that group right below. And it would take for a tremendous amount of things to happen perfectly in their favor for them to get an opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. But they are building. They are good. They are young. They are exciting. But when you watch the game, and you kind of talked about the eye test, when you watch the game and you look at it and you say, you know what? This isn't Super Bowl caliber football in all three phases. This isn't Super Bowl caliber coaching in all three phases. And so this team has to continue to grow, but they're in the thick of it. They're in the hunt. They're going to be a playoff team, and there's going to be defensive coordinators who are killing themselves, staying in the building, sleeping in their offices, trying to find out ways to stop Kyler Murray in this offense. But I just think that other teams are going to be a little too much holistically for the Arizona Cardinals to get to the Super Bowl this year or contend this year, but I believe they'll continue to grow. And as far as a team in the future, this is going to be one of the teams I believe we talk about a lot as having opportunities to win huge games.
I don't disagree with that at all, but Max, before I hand it to you, let me say just for clarifications for the purposes of our audience on First Take. I have been on the record on many, many occasions lamenting the fact that Cliff Kingsbury got this job. I think that this year he is doing an outstanding job, and he deserves all the credit in the world. Having said that, I don't budge on my position one damn bit. I don't give a damn if he wins the Super Bowl. I'll still give him props, and he will deserve it. My position was based on his resume as a collegiate coach, having never coached on any NFL level, and on top of it all, clearly not winning in college football. He never deserved the job. He bypassed the process, leapfrogged over it, and even though he's successful and is showing that he's doing a good job and he's a very capable coach, and I wish him nothing but the best, my issue is not with him on a personal level. My issue is with the process being violated and minority candidates constantly being bypassed for stuff like that, because a black man would have never gotten a job in the NFL as a head coach with that resume.
Hell no, he wouldn't. Your basic position,
I never will.
Your basic position is if African-American candidates never seem to be able to skip 5 steps, then European-American candidates shouldn't either. And for every example you can find of success in spite of that, you don't have an example of success of a black candidate in spite of that because they don't have the opportunity. I appreciate that point. And good on you for, acknowledging the job Kingsbury's done. I want to say something about Arizona. I know why you guys are saying about it. You're like, it's not going to be this year. But if you win the NFC West, you're live, period. And they're doing this without Chandler Jones. And they're doing this with Patrick Peterson at a point in his career where he's now talking about, yes, I'd be willing to move to safety, right? And you're doing this with Isaiah Simmons not living up to like what we thought he'd be out of the draft right away at least. All those things are true on the defense, and still the defense is banged up, and still you're in position to win the NFC West. I just don't think we can sleep on Arizona. Like, are they more of a sleeper pick? Is it more in the vein of the Raiders or the Dolphins? Sure, they're ahead of schedule, but they are live. And guys, let's not forget, in a weird kind of COVID year, right, where things are not the way they normally are, some funky stuff could happen.
I mean, definitely some funky stuff can happen, but it has to happen for this team. And, you know, you watch him and you believe in the quarterback. But then there are some times where you're like, oh yeah, Kyler, he still has to grow. There are some moments where you're saying, okay, DeAndre, he still has to work his way open or work his way into some chemistry with the QB. And then you'll see Christian Kirk explode and then he'll disappear and you won't know where he is. I think this team is still rounding in to who they are. They're still figuring out what their formula is and trying to figure out a way that they can win games consistently. And sometimes you got to get some easy ones. This team never gets an easy one. It's always a fight. You know, you can look at Seattle. It took the late turnovers by Russell Wilson. You go back and you lose to Miami. And now the Buffalo Bills, it takes a miracle play. And all of those things have to happen for them to just be in the fight in the NFC West. I think as you see this team progress, as you see this coach grow, we'll see this team have commanding leads in the NFC West. They aren't there yet. They aren't back to
You just gave a playoff lineup. You just said, like, this team is going to – you just named 3 playoff caliber teams and said they had to win with plays at the end or they narrowly lost. Yeah, man, they're that kind of team. They're up in the mix.
They're in the mix, man. They're not at the top of the mix, bro.
For sure, and we'll see them on Thursday night going against Seattle, so that'll be a tough one. Rye, thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. When we come back here on First Take, we've got some NBA news to discuss. Stephen A., I know you're going to be all over this. Apparently, Harden would consider reuniting with KD in Brooklyn. Would they be able to stop the Lakers from a repeat? We get into it.
We've got so much debate on a First Take Tuesday. Can the Bears' defense overcome their quarterback play? Or is Dalvin Cook racing toward a possible MVP and playoff berth? Plus, will I have to correct yet another Stevens A-list on the top 5 NFL teams? First Take tomorrow. Don't miss it.
What some call nerves, you call butterflies. While others worry, you know you're up to the task. With a Jeep Compass, life isn't a test, it's an adventure, which is why you're not looking back. You're looking forward.
With employee pricing for all, get $4,752 below MSRP, plus $750 bonus cash on the 2021 Compass Trailhawk.
At CDW, we get that employees working from the road are a major security concern. CDW can assess your needs, then design and implement a secure mobility solution using the HP EliteBook powered by Intel 8th Generation Core processors. The HP EliteBook features groundbreaking built-in security, like SureView, to thwart visual hacking, and CDW configures them to your company's specs. For mobile security, you need HP and IT orchestration by CDW.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Every square blasted with Cinnadust.
Searching for meaning in a relentless world. Always connected. But somehow alone. Trapped by illusion. We offer another path. Where the battle to belong begins. Awakened by a calling. United by the cause you fight for. No one can take away what it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
Next time you carry out 3-topping Domino's pizzas for $7.99 each, try Domino's Carside Delivery. Just check in online and we'll quickly and safely bring out your food so you don't have to get out to get carry out. Like Denny here.
Hey Hamlin, I like your PJs.
PJs. Rated T for Teen.
Remember, Miles, you're Spider-Man. They really think they can get us, they checking and trip when I flip up the building. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to take on the world. You can't stop me now. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
PlayStation. We made USAA insurance for this season, and the veterans that never quit on their team. When being a fan gets tough, And stretching your budget gets even tougher. Our agents put in the time and legwork for you. So saving on auto insurance is easy. Because saving a little extra goes a long way. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. USAA.
This fall, it's going to be the new normal.
And we want you to know that we have student support services resources in place to help make sure you're successful.
I'm a success coach in the Student Advising Center at Joliet Junior College, and I'm able to support students from home, online.
I'm on the Blue Devil football team, and that's a great place to be, because other colleges wouldn't let me be both a football player and a nursing student. And just because I'm a dog on the field doesn't mean I can't take care of people. And man, do I love people. The small class size at LTU give me awesome access to my nursing professors. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Saturday, UFC 255, 2 flyweight titles on the line from Sin City. The prelims start 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, ESPN Deportes, with the main card on pay-per-view at 10 Eastern. To order the main card in English and Spanish, go to ESPNplus.com/pay-per-view. Over to the big NBA news of the weekend. The trade window is officially open at noon. Sources telling our Ramona Shelburne, Zach Lowe, and Woj that Rocket star James Harden considering the team across the bridge behind me. Woj reporting this morning the Nets are already making moves and will get Bruce Brown in a trade with the Pistons. Stephen A., what would Harden to the Nets mean for Kevin Durant?
Well, it would put Kevin Durant in the eye of the storm, because we all know that when Kevin Durant is healthy, he's just a sensational basketball player. I expect him, even if he's at 80% instead of 100, and I expect him to be at least 80%, but even if he's at 80%, he's 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan and one of the ultimate snipers in this game, one of the greatest scorers this game has ever seen. I easily see him, and I use the word easily, see him averaging 25 to 27 a game. And so I expect him to do his thing, and I think without Harden, the Brooklyn Nets should be the favorites to go to the finals out of the Eastern Conference. I think with Harden, you can literally look at them and say, excuse me, championship. Now, if you're James Harden, it's one of those situations where I know that he loves playing in Houston. No state income tax. The city loves him. Okay, of course, he's been a star there. That really elevated his career once he went from being a reserve in OKC behind Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant to what he's been in Houston. There's no question. But from what I'm being told, he may not want to stay there only because you're not trying to be a part of a retooling or a rebuilding. You want to compete for a championship. You're 32 years of age. You've averaged over 30 the last 3 years. You're one of the prolific scorers this game has ever seen in your own right. You want to be in a better situation. Him and Kevin Durant are very cool with one another. They're former teammates. Obviously, Kyrie and KD are tight. The combination of those three together, it's just buckets. And Jay Williams brought up this very valid point this morning on his show with Keyshawn and Zubin. He said, listen, because KD is coming off that Achilles injury, you might want another individual that's explosive offensively to take some of that pressure off of Kevin Durant. I'm talking about the physical pressure of having to carry the load. So when you look at it from that perspective, and then you look at how judicious Kevin Durant is, one of the most efficient offensive superstars the game has ever seen, makes the right plays. He's a shot maker, doesn't need to engage in volume shooting in order to be explosive because he's just that kind of ability. Plus, he's incredibly unselfish, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. I think you can look at the Brooklyn Nets and say, excuse me, title. I'm not saying that you automatically ordain them that with the Lakers, scheduled to re-sign Anthony Davis to a long-term deal in all probability with LeBron James, with getting a Dennis Schroeder and all of that stuff. But can you look at the Brooklyn Nets if they were to acquire Harden and say KD, Harden, Kyrie should not be the favorites to win the title? Who could definitively say that knowing the game of basketball? I don't think anyone can. I think James Harden would know that. He'd go to Brooklyn try to win a couple of titles, and then end up ending his career back at Houston for all I know. Basically, that's what you're looking at right now as the situation involving James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, look, the history of the NBA is when you stack MVP caliber players on top of each other on a team, even if the fit's not perfect, you're going to be the favorites because usually that team wins. Fit's not perfect, right? Harden's a ball stopper, Kyrie's a ball stopper. Who has the ball in their hands, everything. On the other hand, you think of KD with Harden and Kyrie. It's like a version almost of what the Thunder might have been had they stuck together and matured all together, right? Because you have multiple MVP and high-level all-stars on the same team. But I don't think it would put the same kind of pressure on KD that he had on Golden State. There's more upside here. If you win, you get more credit, but there's not as much downside. Had KD not won on the Golden State Warriors, Stephen A., a 73-win team where he's replacing Harrison Barnes. You go from Harrison Barnes to Kevin Durant in a death lineup, right? Like, had they not won, that's a disaster for KD. So there wasn't as much upside, there was more downside. Is that more pressure? Or is this more pressure where maybe there's not as much downside, but there is some upside here? I mean, you know, to make it work, to get the chemistry right, to come back off of catastrophic injury, you know, he'll get some upside credit here if they win. The fact remains, if you have two MVP caliber players and a player as talented as Kyrie on your team, you are going to be the favorites in your conference at least.
Well, I think one of the important components here, Max, is that it's about also being wanted. Like, if you're James Harden, you are the man in Houston. I don't give a damn who it is. Outside of LeBron James, anybody that becomes Kevin Durant's teammate outside of LeBron James or even Steph Curry, KD's going to be that dude. And so when you look at it, that's James Harden having to go to a situation, even though KD hasn't established himself yet in Brooklyn because he hasn't even played the game for them as of yet. But from what I'm being told, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but from what I'm being told, they've been playing together, practicing together. I think it's in LA. I'm not sure, but I think it's in LA over the last few weeks. And you hear noise about how KD wants Harden to come there, and Harden wouldn't mind reuniting with his friend and teammate. So assuming that kind of stuff is true, I think we could look at it from a standpoint that anything is possible with this situation. All I'm saying is James Harden with KD alone is championship-worthy consideration. You add Kyrie to the mix, there's only two things that come to mind. A, health. Okay, and KD's the one questionable guy there because I think KD would be healthy, and obviously James Harden hasn't gotten himself hurt. The other thing is going to be, do you want to play together? And can KD really, really reel in the personalities? Because James Harden, as great as he is, didn't want Dwight Howard any longer, didn't want CP3 there any longer. And even though Russell Westbrook and him are boys by all stretches of the imagination, the bottom line is they're not thinking about playing together as well. By the way, as an aside, I spoke to Russell Westbrook the other day. He wanted to make sure everybody understood it. He tweeted about this, but he reiterated to me personally, he and James Harden are as tight as ever. They're brothers. They always will be brothers. They're tight. He didn't elaborate on anything beyond that. But he wanted to make sure there's a difference between, reports of not wanting to play with one another and as opposed to them not being tight and not being friends and not being boys. There is nothing wrong with their relationship whatsoever. It's just that you heard the reports that they don't necessarily, or Russell Westbrook definitely wants to move on.
I'm glad Russ told you that, Stephen A. I think that's important for fans to know. That's important to know. I'm glad he said that. And speaking of Westbrook, imagine the Rockets. The Rockets, as much as D'Antoni's system and Morey and all that stuff and the complementary pieces and the style of play, it's James Harden last year and Russell Westbrook, the two biggest components. Westbrook's issue is not a great shooter, right? Kyrie can shoot the lights out. And, of course, he and Westbrook don't play the exact same style, but he's a super athletic point guard who can score like Russell Westbrook. The difference is he can shoot. Now put Kevin Durant on that team, and you see why it'd be murder.
So with that being said, though, Stephen A., let's do the thought experiment. Harden does go to BK. Can they take the Lakers?
I think they can. I wouldn't definitively state that yet. I want to see what the Lakers do this offseason, who they acquire, because you don't know if Avery Bradley's going to stay. You don't know if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is going to stay, although I think they will. Anthony Davis should definitely stay, but you know what? If you talk to Rich Paul or whatever, he'll throw New York out there. He'll throw Chicago out there. He's a businessman, and obviously, even though Anthony Davis is going to get the max, all things have to fall in line. And you got to remember, this coming season is LeBron's last year before he has a player option to decide what he wants to do with his future, whether it be in a Laker uniform or anywhere else. The man's gone from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland to LA, so it's not beyond the realm of comprehension that he would elect to move, although I can't imagine him leaving this Southern California sunshine, because I just got back from LA, as y'all both know, and I must say, it is a lovely place to be, as you two would know, since you both lived out there yourselves. That's a hard place to leave.
You dragged me back to New York, kicking and screaming, Stephen A. I was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air out there. It's the greatest place to live.
Well, I would say this: you got to credit the bosses for that. I had no problem whatsoever
I remember that.
with you remaining in
like,
California.
let him live in LA.
That would have enabled me to be in California more.
Yeah.
I'm just not the boss.
Let's see.
You know.
Well, listen, you got no argument from me about LA, although I love New York too. Stephen A.
That's right.
Could they beat the Lakers? Sure, they could. I would actually make the Lakers slight favorites here. I would say that there's continuity. I would think bringing in Dennis Schroeder, who just came off the best season of his career. People are like, arguing, no, he certainly had the best season of his career. He's playing defense. Schroeder was playing defense, and he was shooting the ball well, right? With Schroeder, it's like, well, he played defense, and can he have a year where he hits his shots? Yeah. He's taking a bunch of threes and hitting them at a very good clip and defending. So you look at the matchup, LeBron over KD, particularly KD off an injury. I'd take AD over Harden. I mean, you could say it's close, but you could argue when you factor in health, the Lakers have the two best players on either team. And then Kyrie obviously over Schroeder, but I'll tell you what, Schroeder doesn't have chemistry issues wherever he goes. Kyrie does. I still like the Lakers there.
Well, listen, I don't blame you for that, and I might agree with you, but let's keep in mind a couple of things. Anthony Davis was a difference maker because he was so formidable defensively. A matter of fact, there were times when he switched off on Harden. There was times when he switched off and he was on the Joker, or he was on the perimeter guarding a Jamal Murray at times, stuff like that. Excuse me, what you gonna do with KD and James Harden? That ain't the same monster coming at you. I'm sorry. So as a result of that, how effective would you be defensively? And then let's also take this into consideration. They're the two best players in the world. If Kevin Durant is healthy, particularly on the offensive side of the ball with James Harden, are we sure that Anthony Davis and LeBron James is more of a dynamic duo offensively than KD and James Harden?
You know,
that kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. They beat you in different ways, but Harden and KD, and by the way, Anthony Davis guarding KD is a different animal because he's 6'11", like Anthony Davis.
Who's the point guard on that team? Because you can make a good argument to put the ball in Harden's hands and play Kyrie, as great as his handles are, off ball, because Kyrie can really shoot.
Well, he can really shoot, but it's also about his temperament. I think that Kyrie is going to be far more receptive to listening to KD than he was to listening to LeBron or others.
All right. Quickly, guys, want to get boxing in here. We had Kell Brook on the show. Terrence Crawford earned his 28th knockout, unreal, on Saturday night, beating Kell Brook to retain the WBO welterweight title. Matt, tell me this. Who should Crawford fight next?
Errol Spence. It's the #1 fight in boxing. Spence has to beat Garcia. He had a car accident about a year ago. Let's make sure he's healthy. If he is, he should beat Garcia. He's favored to do so. Steve Nate, these are the two best welterweights in the world. They're both undefeated. It'd be a unification fight. They can both box. They can both punch. They're both in or around their best weight class. They're both in or around their prime. Fights like this in the history of boxing almost never take place. It would be a fight. There are others like it, but it would be that significant if these two fought right now, and the winner would certainly be considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Well, let me chime in here before I give it back to you. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'm really vehement about not wanting to see Pacquiao against Crawford, because I don't want to see Pacquiao's career end like that. He'll get destroyed by Crawford at this stage and point in his career and in his life. I don't like that matchup for Pacquiao at all. As it pertains to Errol Spence, he clearly is the guy. But damn, Max, how many times did he flip over in that car when he crashed? I mean, I got to really see him against Garcia, who I like a lot, by the way, and I think deserves far more respect than he gets. I got to see how healthy Errol Spence is and how much damage to that head he may have done. I don't know how healthy he is.
You're right, but if he beats Garcia,
after that nasty car accident.
That's why Garcia is such a great fight to gauge that right now.